If the lines are cleared out, the most captivating star that I recognize as the star that might baffle our sky is this one. Scarab's juice or pulverization. It is an enormous red star. In addition to the hazy possibility, if you put it where the Sun is, it would extend all the way to the orbit of Jupiter. It's huge, completely unpredictable, and likely to burst into flames. Not as obvious as it appears in the universe's Goliath-like events, like most irrationally feared giants. It could shake everything we've ever known. Observe, in addition to doing whatever it takes not to see its middle. Betelgeuse has been interpreted as a red, incredibly massive star that is typically greater in size than the Sun. Brian Cox and other space specialists think it could go supernova, which has made people frightened about what will happen. Immediately following, the James Webb Space Telescope is getting shocking pictures of the star, asking when Betel will appear. The liquid will explode into a supernova, and how it will affect the Titanic, Earth. Let us sort out the magnificent Earth body star or ion, that shines so amazingly that even people from the magnificent past civilizations have seen it for a long time. The star Betelgeuse is situated on the eastern shoulder of Orion. It is the constellation's second largest star, and its name is derived from this feature. Monster shoulder. It is potentially one of the most brilliant stars in the night sky. On top of being extremely bright, the star has an odd red hue. As we'll see, this points to trouble. We've had some tremendous experience with Betelgeuse for a very long time. A Greek observer named Timoi also focused on it. At that time, the most important thing people perceived about stars was their color. Additionally, he claimed that it was a toad-hued orange. In recent times, specialists have been focusing on the star more eagerly, and now they have a brilliant idea of what makes it so enigmatic. One of these characteristics is that the star changes brightness a great deal. With a clear magnitude of 0.6, Betelgeuse is a variable star, which indicates that its brightness varies over time. Recently, specialists have found new information about the star. In 2019, they first saw that Betelgeuse was acting out of character. Despite the fact that it did not completely stop shining, it wasn't the same. It had become considerably less bright, shining at a level of 1.6. Specialists quickly began to investigate why they were observing the 10th brightest star behave in this capricious manner. Researchers expected to offer an astounding explanation in light of their research, which uncovered unusual signs from the star. According to their discoveries, Betelgeuse could go supernova at any moment. Brian Cox, a famous scientist and distinguished professor of particle physics at Manchester University School of Physics and Cosmology, shared this surprisingly dangerous explanation. You should not disregard his viewpoint as a joke. He also produces a science show, Popular Science Books, and is the Royal Public Engagement Professor for the Society of Science. Brian Cox says that, from all appearances, Betelgeuse is a ticking time bomb because it could go off without warning. To follow what is happening, the James Webb Space Telescope has shown a lot of evidence to back up this explanation. But what whimsical signs has Betelgeuse displayed that have raised numerous concerns in space science? With the new information about Betelgeuse, the star has been named a supernova candidate. Despite the fact that analysts are still unsure when it will explode, the fact remains. Betelgeuse has twice as much mass as the Sun. One possible explanation is classification. A star, as it's been said, ought to have a mass a few times that of the Sun to be called a supernova. It gets really interesting, however, because a variety of instruments were used by researchers studying Betelgeuse. For instance, the James Webb Space Telescope and the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory were used to observe events in the space around Betelgeuse. What they found remains a mystery. Having been born on August 301st, a long time ago, around that time, the star Betelgeuse clearly offered odd hints that made its future uncertain. What did they find? They could detect curious light waves coming from the star, which is incredibly intriguing. However, it wasn't the only thing experts observed. This brings us back to the likelihood that Betelgeuse is a star whose brightness changes every now and then. It was said that Betelgeuse was alarmingly decreased at frequent intervals and contained dark areas, much like our Sun today. However, the circumstances are different. Changes from bright to dim twice as fast as it used to, which is another indicator. It has returned to an amazing sign. The star's dimming cycle had hit a band of quality of 1.61 in February 2021. This was not long after the enormous darkening event. Remember how the star appeared to fade in a bizarre manner in 2019? That's now known as the extraordinary loss of light. The incredible darkening was the start of Betelgeuse's unusual behavior that worried a lot of people. That Betelgeuse was going to explode. The range of darkening was 1.2 between 2019 and 2020, and the lowest level of dimming ever observed was in 2019. So, specialists were certain that terrible Betelgeuse would go supernova in the next 100,000 years. In view of the remarkable darkening and fragmentation in the universe as a result, this is truly surprising. Analysts rapidly altered their perspectives, however, when they saw what happened next. Betelgeuse got brighter again after the amazing dimming and evolved into something significantly more striking. Astrophysicist Andrea Dupree at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics said the star is currently 150% brighter than normal, making it the seventh most brilliant star. Specialists were panicked when they saw a red glow in the southern part of the sky. Today, it still gets more interesting because this has led to different theories. The factors that contributed to the incredible darkening. First, it's important to note that not all stars have Betelgeuse's red glow. The red glow of Betelgeuse means that it's a red supergiant star, which is the last phase in a star's life and death. On the other hand, this red glow is caused by a surface temperature of around 3,500 Kelvin, which is much cooler than the 5,500 Kelvin outer layer of the Sun. Since Betelgeuse is cooler than our Sun, it emits less energy per square inch of surface. Nevertheless, it is more massive and will detonate. Now, let's examine the phenomenal darkening. Brian Cox inquires whether Betelgeuse will go supernova. As a rule, the fact that Betelgeuse is a red supergiant already shows that it is near the end of its existence. A dying star will frequently deteriorate over time, which specialists expect. However, Betelgeuse's new amazing behavior has made experts focus more intensely. Additionally, many telescopes are now focusing on the extraordinary darkness that persists. This is much more interesting because experts don't have a significant understanding of Betelgeuse. Researchers are currently using the most cutting-edge tools to keep an eye out for the captivating events taking place around Betelgeuse. The James Webb Space Telescope has been one of the best instruments currently in use. This mass ejection is one of the most significant events ever recorded for a star of the Betelgeuse variety. The sheer scale of the release suggests that the star underwent a massive upheaval, expelling a substantial portion into space from its outer layers. Scientists are still analyzing the long-term implications of this event, but one thing is certain: Betelgeuse is behaving in ways that have never been seen before. What does this mean for Betelgeuse? The significant shifts in brightness and mass loss have raised new questions about the star's life cycle. Typically, when a red supergiant expels this much material, it is a precursor to a supernova explosion. On the other hand, astronomers don't know for sure if this event means Betelgeuse is closer to exploding than previously thought, or if it will stabilize and continue burning for thousands of years before its final collapse. The James Webb Space Telescope continues to monitor Betelgeuse, capturing images with high resolution and spectral data that give more information into the star's condition. One of the most fascinating discoveries is that Betelgeuse's outer layers appear to be expanding at an accelerating rate. This could imply that the star's core is becoming increasingly unstable, a possible sign that it is preparing for its next and final stage, a catastrophic explosion. How would a supernova affect Earth? If Betelgeuse were to go supernova, the explosion would rank among the most impressive astronomical events in human history. A supernova would be sufficiently bright to be seen during the daytime for weeks, possibly even casting shadows at night. Some scientists estimate that its peak brightness might be as great as the full moon. However, because Betelgeuse is located about 642 light-years away from Earth, its explosion would not pose a direct threat to our planet. The radiation and shock waves released from the blast would dissipate long before reaching our solar system. Still, the event would offer an unprecedented opportunity for scientists to study a supernova in real time. Anything that has not been observed in such detail before, What are Betelgeuse's next steps? The supernova is believed by some astronomers to possibly occur during our lifetime. Others argue that it may still require thousands of years before the star reaches its explosive finale. Until then, researchers will continue to closely monitor Betelgeuse, looking for any new signs of instability that could indicate a presently unknown impending explosion. Betelgeuse continues to be one of the most thrilling and closely watched events in modern astronomy. Whether it explodes tomorrow or centuries from now, one thing is certain. When it does, it will be one of the most breathtaking cosmic events that humanity has ever witnessed. Compared to the usual coronal mass ejections, the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, offers a deeper look into what our eyes can't see. Scientists are studying light waves, analyzing frequencies in this way, excited about the potential. Within its scope, researchers have observed dust clouds appearing on the surface of the star. These clouds obscure Betelgeuse's light and seem to behave in ways that defy expectations. Despite the fact that Betelgeuse will eventually die, specialists continue to pay close attention to it because they are unsure exactly when the explosion will occur. Betelgeuse is larger than the Sun, and this brilliant red star is expected to shine brightly for at least the next 10 years. But if we examine the numerous unique events associated with the star, it's hard to say anything for certain. Following the remarkable dimming event in 2019, professionals do not anticipate Betelgeuse exploding soon. However, if it does, it will become the first supernova observed since Johannes Kepler documented one in 1604. Still, experts remain cautious. Despite focusing on the star's rare behavior, they are unsure when it will reach its end. If we separate speculation from fact, the question of when remains a mystery. In the absence of certainty, Betelgeuse continues to surprise us. It is possibly one of the most captivating and unpredictable stars in our skies. If placed where the Sun is, this red giant would stretch out to Jupiter's orbit. This staggeringly enormous star sits on the edge of a universe-wide transformation. Cosmic events do not always unfold in straightforward ways. Supernovae, for example, are unusually massive explosions that can completely alter our perception of the universe. While the chance of Betelgeuse going supernova looms, researchers are still working to determine the precise sequence of events leading to its demise. As analysts continue gathering data from advanced space telescopes such as the James Webb and the Hubble Space Telescope, they remain cautious about predicting an imminent explosion. Despite Betelgeuse's surprising behavior, including its baffling dimming and brightening cycles, there is still no certainty about when it will finally reach the end of its life. There are rumors that it might still take thousands of years, while others believe it could occur much sooner, possibly within the next few years or even months. The exceptional data collected by these powerful telescopes, along with the star's unpredictable behavior, has researchers on edge. They are carefully monitoring each change with the most advanced tools available to detect any subtle indications that a supernova may be near. The moment Betelgeuse finally explodes, it will send shockwaves through the universe, releasing a massive amount of energy. There will be a brief explosion so bright it will outshine the entire galaxy and be visible from Earth as clearly as the full moon. This spectacular cosmic display, however, won't pose an immediate threat to Earth, as Betelgeuse is located more than 600 light-years away. The supernova will instead provide researchers with a significant opportunity to study the final stages of a massive star's life and the violent phenomena that accompany it. Betelgeuse's impending end isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's a reminder of the vastness and mystery of the universe. Stars like Betelgeuse play a vital role in the life cycle of galaxies, enriching the cosmos with elements necessary for the formation of new stars, planets, and possibly life itself. The death of a star like Betelgeuse is not the end. It undergoes a transformation. The materials it expels will eventually seed new stellar systems. In the meantime, scientists continue to observe Betelgeuse, unraveling the mystery surrounding its future. With each new discovery, we inch closer to witnessing one of the most extraordinary events in the universe: Betelgeuse's transformation from a monstrous red supergiant into a stupendous supernova. Until that moment arrives, the sky remains a canvas of wonder, with Betelgeuse shining brightly, a symbol of the fleeting nature of life in the cosmos. As space scientists closely monitor Betelgeuse, the mystery surrounding its fate deepens, especially given the star's irregular brightness cycles and unexplained behavior. It's important to remember that not all stars end their lives the same way. Smaller stars, like our Sun, will conclude their life cycles more gently, shedding their outer layers and leaving behind a white dwarf. Betelgeuse, however, is an enormous red supergiant. When it dies, it will go out with a bang, a vastly different process from the gradual dimming of smaller stars. Betelgeuse's sheer size makes it a fascinating subject for investigation. With a radius hundreds of times larger than the Sun's, if it were placed at the center of our solar system, it would extend beyond the orbit of Mars. Because of its immense size, Betelgeuse has burned through an extraordinary amount of fuel, and its core is now nearing the end, rapidly collapsing under the force of gravity. This collapse will eventually trigger the supernova. As Betelgeuse approaches supernova status, its core heats up and contracts, while its outer layers cool and expand. This results in an erratic environment with fluctuations in brightness. Events like the 2019 dimming may indicate the star is entering a period of rapid change. This darkening could be linked to the outpouring of material from the star's surface, temporarily clouding its light. Despite these variations, Betelgeuse continues to emit light, albeit erratically, making it an ever-intriguing object of study. The possibility that Betelgeuse may soon become a nearby supernova has attracted global attention. Using instruments like the James Webb and Hubble telescopes, scientists are gathering an unprecedented amount of data. These telescopes allow us to observe Betelgeuse in frequencies previously out of reach, like infrared and ultraviolet, providing insights into its internal processes. Additionally, researchers are employing advanced simulations to model the behavior of massive stars like Betelgeuse. These models help scientists predict its future and estimate the timeline for its eventual explosion. While the exact timing of Betelgeuse's supernova remains uncertain, current data suggests it could happen sooner rather than later. Some predictions suggest it may occur within the next few years. Others speculate it could take thousands. Regardless of the time frame, the impending demise of Betelgeuse will be a landmark event in the study of stellar evolution. Although the explosion won't pose a threat to Earth, scientists will have a rare opportunity to study the final moments of a massive star's life. Astronomers hope to gain deeper insights into how such stars die and what follows. At this point, they remain on high alert, watching every move Betelgeuse makes. The information gathered not only informs us about this particular star but enhances our broader understanding of one of the most dynamic processes in the universe, the evolution and death of stars. One of the most fascinating aspects of Betelgeuse's transformation is what may follow the supernova. When a star of this size ends its life, it can leave behind either a neutron star or a black hole, depending on the mass of its collapsing core. If Betelgeuse follows the typical pattern of massive stars, it could shrink into a dense neutron star, an object with more mass than the Sun packed into a space smaller than a city. However, if its core is massive enough, the collapse may go even further, forming a black hole, a region where gravity is so strong that not even light can escape. When Betelgeuse eventually explodes, its impact will be felt across the galaxy. The shock waves it generates will travel through space, interacting with interstellar dust and gas. These shock waves may compress nearby gas clouds, triggering the birth of new stars and possibly entire planetary systems. Astronomers also predict that the explosion will temporarily reshape the Orion constellation, where Betelgeuse is currently one of the brightest stars. Once the supernova occurs, Betelgeuse will vanish from the night sky, altering the familiar shape of Orion as we know it. Nevertheless, since Betelgeuse is over 600 light-years away, the explosion may have already happened centuries ago. The light simply hasn't reached Earth yet. This is one of the great mysteries of deep space. What we observe today may have occurred hundreds or thousands of years in the past. This offers a rare opportunity for science. Unlike ancient supernovae only recorded by early astronomers, today's scientists have unprecedented tools to study Betelgeuse's final moments. Modern telescopes provide high-resolution images across multiple wavelengths, from X-rays to radio waves, allowing researchers to analyze the explosion's structure and composition in real time. Space organizations like NASA and the European Space Agency (ESA) are already preparing for this event. When Betelgeuse finally goes supernova, telescopes around the world will be poised to observe, gathering information that could revolutionize our understanding of stellar death and rebirth. While the exact timing of Betelgeuse's explosion remains unknown, there is no doubt it will be a monumental event in human history. For astronomers, it represents the opportunity of a lifetime, to witness the death of a massive star in stunning detail and gather insights that could reshape our understanding of the universe's life cycle. For the rest of us, it will be a spectacular sight. When Betelgeuse does go supernova, it will likely be visible to the naked eye, shining as brightly as the full moon for several weeks or even months before gradually fading away. The night sky will briefly change, offering a once-in-a-lifetime cosmic spectacle for skywatchers around the planet. Until that day arrives, we can only wait and keep watching. Whether it occurs tomorrow or in tens of thousands of years, the fate of Betelgeuse is a humbling reminder of the power and unpredictability of the cosmos. As scientists continue to gather new insights, one thing is certain: when Betelgeuse finally reaches the end of its life, we will remember it as one of the most extraordinary occurrences in the sky of our time.